Hey guys, this is AC Locker with Disruptor Manufacturing, and we just want to tell you about something new and cool that we're doing. This is a pest control system that we're building for a national company. We're building several of these for them, and this is part of what we do in the customization or putting together systems for fleets that we do. We can come in and do custom engineering and innovate with you guys and figure out what we're really known very well for, which is getting 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag. And that sounds funny, but this particular company came to us and they wanted to be able to get a lot of stuff in the back of a truck, and they wanted to be able to get it under a camper topper. Now, we don't have the camper topper on here right now for this first half of the video because we wanted to be able to show you stuff without the camper topper being in the way. For the second half of the video, we're going to come back in and we're going to put the camper topper on here so that you can see how this system goes in with the camper topper. So this is designed to go into the back of a Toyota Tacoma size truck, a Nissan Frontier size truck. You know, these smaller pickup trucks, and especially as things start to go towards EVs or electric vehicles, you're going to have to really consider downsizing your pest control rigs, bringing your weight down on your pest control rigs to be able to put them into battery-powered vehicles to be able to get a full day's work out of them between charges. Now, let me talk about a few of the things that we did here. So one of the big common problems in the pest control industry is DOT regulations, hazardous materials handling, accidents out on the highways. And so one of the things that we did with this system here is we were able to take a lot of the chemical products that they use and the size of their tanks and get the size of the tanks down, especially the tanks that hold chemicals, down to a point where they're not a reportable quantity. So what you may or may not know is with certain chemicals that are out there, that if you have a spill that's more than 10 gallons or 100 pounds, you have to call hazmat. So one of the things that we've designed into this system here is this system not only complies with all the DOT standards as far as the gross vehicle weight rating of the vehicle and keeping the vehicle below 10,050 pounds so that you don't have to have medical cards and any kind of special licensing and all that kind of stuff, but also too with the tanks that are on this truck here. If this truck gets into an accident, you do not have to call hazmat, ever, okay? All the tanks on here, all the liquid products that are carried on this vehicle are below 10 gallons or 100 pounds. So you don't have to have a spill contingency plan or any of those types of things. So it really keeps regulatory stuff very concise. The other thing here is I mentioned weight. This system right here, before it's loaded, weighs about 1,000 pounds. And that's with water in the tanks, okay? Water in the tanks, but before we add any of the backpack vacuums or B&G sprayers or any of the organizational stuff, any of the other products that might go in here, this thing is right around, it's probably with all the tanks loaded about 1,150 pounds, which is totally within the payload capacity of this vehicle. Now, let me point out some of the things we did here, and we'll go right here to just the really fun end of the truck here. First thing I want to show is, of course, when this is in the topper, you'll be able to see that when you open up the back window of the topper, you have the control panel for the system will be very easily accessible with the tailgate closed, and it's very easy to get in for that. But when we open up the tailgate here, one of the special requests that this particular company had was they didn't want to have a bunch of ladders on top of the topper. Now, they're still getting a ladder rack up there, but they know that they have a lot of team members that are shorter. They have some male and female team members. So, weight capacity or the ability to move big things around is a concern. So they wanted to get the ladder. They're using a Murphy or collapsible style ladder here, not the brand name Murphy ladder, but they're using one of these collapsible, expandable A-frame ladders, and they wanted to be able to get it underneath the skid. So this ladder, you can actually move it out of the skid, or you can slide it back up underneath the skid, and we're utilizing underneath the skid for storage right there, and that's great. So when you close the tailgate on the back of it, the ladder is locked up, It's safe, it's not going to get stolen, and it's easy for smaller technicians to be able to pull it out of the truck without having to reach up on top of the topper. The other thing they wanted to do is, of course, there's a lot of lockout, tagout regulations in pest control. You got to lock up the vehicle. You can't have accessibility to the controlled products that are on the vehicle. And so the vehicle has to be able to be locked up. So the vehicle is lockable, but when you bring down the tailgate and you go ahead, this is what we call our Tailslide hose reel. And this is something that we've been doing for several pest control companies that use toppers. Some of them have even the flat tonneau toppers that go down here, and we have the hose reel where it slides out. But watch this. I hit 2 levers here, and I'm able to slide out the hose reel. It locks in place, and it's pointing now curbside towards the road. We have a wand holder. If you come around here, we have a wand holder to where you're able to put the wand in here, disconnect it, pull the wand out. This is an electric hose reel in this particular case. This is our line of hose reels. This is our Stingray hose reels. We completely re-engineered the hose reel industry. This is all aluminum, 316 stainless steel manifolds, just super robust construction, lifetime warranty on the reel, on the manifolds, on the swivels, on the motors, on the solenoids, on the switches. This is the last hose reel you ever buy. So they wanted to integrate this great hose reel into this system. And you can see here, if the operator is right-handed, they're able to use the switch and be able to wind in that hose reel easily right here on the side of the truck, or deploy it out curbside out to the house. When they get done winding up the hose reel, they can just simply push down on these 2 levers, push the hose reel back in, lock it into place, close up the back, close up the tonneau. Great, great option right there. Some of the innovation that we bring here at Disruptor Manufacturing. Now, here is, of course, the control panel for the system. One of the things that we did with this system is there's a main water tank. If you come around over this side, just so you understand the dynamics of what's happening here, we have a roughly 35 to 40 gallon water tank here. And this water tank is all that they need to spray during the day. We actually have it hooked up with an eye wash station and a shower. If they get chemicals on themselves, they can wash their hands off during the day. But this is about between 35 and 40 gallons that this tank fills up right here. It's on an automatic filling valve to where you can hook up a hose to it, and when it fills up, it shuts off automatically. Only water goes in this tank. Remember, for DOT reasons, only water goes in this tank. So if you have a wreck and this tank ruptures or spills or the vehicle flips, you're not calling hazmat because there's no chemicals going in that tank. Over here on this side, if you come around, and we'll, just so that you understand the mechanics before we talk about the control panel here, we have 2 tanks here. We have a lockout tagout system on this. Okay, so these 2 tanks get filled with a slurry, and a slurry is basically a concentrate of your pest control chemicals. You're going to get them in your 1 quart or 1 pint size containers, and you're going to put a part of that in here, fill the rest up with water. We have agitators built into these, and this is going to keep a slurry of solution in here. And this particular system handles up to 2 different pest control products. So this one hose reel will spray out 2 separate pest control products. When the manager fills these up once a week, they're able to close this up, put a lock through it. It locks it up there so that we can make sure that the technicians aren't overusing the products, but also to lock out, tag out Department of Ag regulation to make sure that a child or somebody doesn't get into the chemicals. So now as we come back over here to the control panel and we look at the control panel here, you'll notice on the control panel we have 1 switch. The 1 switch here, okay, allows you to, in the 2 position, turns on the pump, and the 1 position turns on the agitators inside of the slurry tanks to get those agitators moving, because sometimes the pest control products will stratify inside the slurry tanks. Okay, 1 and 2, if we turn it straight up, it's both has the actual spraying pump going and the agitators going, and that's generally the position you're going to have it in if you're spraying a property, okay? And then we've got these valves here. So in the off position, both of these valves, if you have them in the off position, this reel will only spray water. Only sprays water. Then you have product 1 and you have product 2. This product goes with this tank. this product goes with this tank. We can actually put labels here to let you know what those products are for Department of Ag regulation, what's in each of those tanks. But if you want to spray what's in tank A, you just switch this valve to on, and then we have a metering control device in there that meters out the appropriate amount of chemicals that's needed to mix water with the slurry tank and deploy it to the hose reel. When you're done with that product there, you turn this to off. You run just for a few minutes to the point where you're finishing up your spray and you get water coming out the end of your hose, and you come over here and you could turn on your other product. So, you might have a perimeter spray here, and then you might have a weed control spray here. This truck can do up to 2 different products. We've done different custom configurations, of course, certainly on bigger 3/4 ton trucks, where we're able to deploy 6 different products and even different cocktails of different products out of one reel on one truck to one operator, which is really cool. But in this particular case, this company here only wanted to have 2 different products on this system. And in this particular case, they have a product for rainy times and a product for dry times, and the same product is for the same type of pests and conditions that they're spraying around their properties. Okay, certainly got a pressure gauge on here, voltage meter, a light that signifies when the pump is on and when the power is coming to the system. All of that's on that control panel. Some simple directions on here, and of course our phone number if your technicians ever need technical support or there's something going wrong with the system. We provide support on the systems that we build. Now, let's talk about organization on this. Organization on here, we have right here a tube with a door that we open up, and this particular company has a duster that they use. Well, they really wanted to confine the mess that the duster creates, and any of y'all that use these dusters know that these things can create a mess. And so we came in and built this nice tube. This is a very common thing that's out in the industry, especially in the plumbing industry. Usually goes up on ladder racks, and we built it here to be able to hold that duster and keep that mess to a minimum. The big deal thing that we've done with this company is we've put together a skid that the load plan, this truck, every single truck in their fleet, everything will be in exactly the same place. Okay? Because they're a franchise organization, and load plan and giving directions and protocols and procedures to their franchisees is very, very important. Now, another important thing on the organizational side is where do you put your poles and brushes, your web brushes, things like that. So if you look in here real close and kind of get in close for me here, you'll notice we have a bracket here with 2 rubber grommets right here, 1 and 2. And that's where their brushes are going to go so that we can actually organize their different poles and their different brushes into the system. Everything has a place on this system. Go ahead and close up the back here. I'll point out as well here, when they fill up the truck with water, we have their water fill here. Another thing that they have right here is the shower. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this out real quick. It is OSHA standard. It is OSHA standard. OSHA 1910 law that anywhere that you have the potential of an eye injury, you must have an eye wash station within 10 seconds of that potential injury. So when you're mixing chemicals or deploying chemicals or anything back here, you need to have a chemical shower if you get chemicals on your skin or anything else. So we're able to flip this switch right here, and it turns on this shower. It's very, very low pressure. So literally you could take this and spray this in your eyes and your face, on your shower, on your hands. If you get any chemicals on your hands, you can rinse it off. If you need to rinse your eye protection glasses or anything else like that, you can do that with this. We have this built right in to the system back here. And it, of course, fits right down into the system here, makes it easy to deploy. So you got your water fill and you have your shower out. That is an OSHA requirement that a lot of companies just don't build into their systems. Let's build it in the systems. Let's be smart about the things we're doing. We're carrying a water tank that's only water. It's raw water in there. We might as well use it. All right, as we get over to this side, we already talked about the slurry tanks here. We already talked about the lockout, tag out. Let's talk about some more organizational items. Well, of course, on the topper, the door is going to swing out here, and we'll show you that here in a minute. But what we've done is we've come in some of the common stuff. This company brought us everything that they like to put into a truck. So they've got an electric B&G sprayer right here. It's actually a green Gorilla sprayer. Got a battery pack on it. It also has where they can go ahead and pump spray it. We custom designed, if you come in here to the top of it, we custom designed the actual bracket that it sits down into. It tells the technicians that this is where the sprayer goes every time. We have load planned this truck. Next to it, we have a flip top bin, okay? And so they can add flip top bins in here, and this is where they're gonna keep some of their loose pest control products, maybe different traps, things like that. Next to that, they have a vacuum pack here for sucking up spiders and webs and bugs and cleaning up after themselves. And then we built out ourselves, this is actually built out of aluminum, a really, really nice corrosion resistant, really corrosion proof aluminum organizer here for any bottles or containers or anything they want to organize into here. When you flip open the door here, all this stuff, you can reach in and get to all of these things. I'm going to tilt this vacuum down for just a second. Let's talk about the battery box here. This system is DC powered, so we have a battery box on it. This system could certainly work off of the battery on the truck, but we have isolated this with its own battery so that it's not drawing juice off the truck. The truck's alternator does charge this battery, and we have put underneath the hood of this truck a battery isolator, so juice only flows one way back here. It won't draw off the starting battery and make it to where the truck can't start. But it charges this battery, and then on both sides of this battery we have built into here our breakers. You can hear the pump just started up. Okay, we've got two 30 amp breakers on here for the different areas of the system. You can see up above my shoulder right here the other 30 amp breaker there. They are easy to get to. Okay, big point here, easy to get to. All right, organization is premium with this. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and put the topper on top of this truck, and we're going to show you guys what this looks like with a topper on top of it. All right, cool. So we have the topper on top of the truck right now, and this will kind of give you an idea of the type of vehicle that we're doing here. It's the Toyota Tacoma, you know, Nissan Frontier style truck with a fiberglass topper on it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you around to the back first here and re-demonstrate some of the things I showed you before. So you can see here, again, Department of Ag, it's important to be able to lock out, tag out, lock up your chemicals and stuff. So this topper gives you the ability to make sure that the truck is locked all the way around. So we can go ahead and we can bring up the topper, and we can go ahead and open out the tailgate here. And this gives you the ability to get to your control panel, okay? We have our shower hose right there. Remember we talked about here the hose reel that comes out. And so now we can go ahead and deploy our lines out to go ahead and spray. There is no access at this point. You cannot get to any pest control chemicals from back here. There's no access to those. These lids right here cannot be screwed or removed because of the lockout tagout that's on top of it. This meets all your Department of Ag. Again, closes up nice and neat. Able to close all that up as we come around here to the side. Able to open it up, and you can see we have our slurry tanks, we have our B&G sprayer, we have our flip top container, we have our vacuum, and then we have our organizer right here for all of our different bottles and products and things that is easy for us to go ahead and close up and of course lock up, and that meets the Department of Ag too as well. So nice and concise. You can open up your lockout tag out here, take your lock off of it, unscrew your slurry tanks and fill your slurry tanks. There's plenty of headroom up above here for filling those. Put your lockout tag out back on, put your lock on there. And if you come over here to the other side, you'll see again over on this side, we have our water tank, we have our hose reel. Now if you come in here and you look real close here, one of the other things that they use a lot is rodent traps. And so they're placing rodent traps around their commercial properties or some of the homes that they service. And they wanted to have some room for the rodent traps. Now I really couldn't show you this before because we didn't have the topper on here. You couldn't envision it. But if you look here, there is plenty of room to put boxes of rodent traps over here on this side and be able to load those in, have those stored and protected inside of the camper shell. Okay, now we don't have it up here. These are also going to be getting our Disruptor Manufacturing ladder racks, which are beautiful. We did custom ladder upturns, ladder locks on those that have the company's logo on them. They look fabulous, and they have ladder rollers on them, so it's easy to deploy larger ladders on and off when they need them on occasion for this. But you can see here, Disruptor Manufacturing, we do fleets. Whether you've got one truck in your pest control fleet or you've got 200 trucks in your pest control fleet, you can send your trucks to us. We can hot spray them, we can wrap them, we can paint them, we can put the systems inside of them. We can coordinate all that work and get them back to you with these beautiful systems inside of them. If you want to have your pest control truck done by Disruptor Manufacturing, give us a call at 407-900-2868. That's 407-900-2868. Or you can get us on the web at disruptormanufacturing.com. Hey guys, this is AC Lock here, and as always, go forth and prosper.